get into the groove. You gotta get into the groove.
I hustle and motivate. Follow me, I know the way. Grind hard on them every night and day. And the 40 bang hard in the air, I don't play. I aim for the neck and the juggler. So don't people think I'm a smuggler. Don't get it confused, bro, I'm just a hustler. Been in the gym, so I got my muscle up. I'm like Yosemite Sam in the Wild West. I just laugh at them when they wear vests, cause it's headshots on sight. I don't do beef, I just lay it to rest. I'm so hungry, my flow sound malicious. On my journey, I'm chasing my riches. I got so many reasons that I gotta make it, so I wake up and I go get it. I move like I'm the mob in my all black. You ain't down with my squad, you can fall back. If you never seen greatness, then you bout to witness, and you gon' know what you should call that. Every song that I've been on is a hit like a ball back. I took some losses, but I got them all back. Been at the bottom and I'm never going back. I'm fully focused and I'm on track. I'm tired of waiting, I'm running out of patience. I'm about to make my move right now. I'm about to make my move right now. I'm tired of waiting, I'm running out of patience. I'm about to make my move right now. I'm about to make my move right now. I'm tired of waiting, I'm running out of patience. I'm about to make my move right now. I'm about to make my move right now. Yeah, I came up straight from the bottom. Put on the gas, yeah, that's the throttle. I get the smash cause I get the bottle. These people mad cause I get the mile. I'm changing lanes in my auto. Get to the bag is my motto. I'm coming up cause I stay down. Grind so hard I can't slow down. Death was given started from the mud. I wrapped it up and now it's a drug. If you wanna play, call my bluff. I'm not gon' pull it if I ain't gon' bust. I'm making a movie, cooking up too. On the freeway, I got no roof. I'm nothing but crack, yeah, that's true. I'm about to win, don't know about you. Tired of waiting, I'm running out of patience. I'm about to make my move right now. I'm about to make my move right now. I'm tired of waiting, I'm running out of patience. I'm about to make my move right now. I'm about to make my move right now. I'm tired of waiting, I'm running out of patience. I'm about to make my move right now. I'm about to make my move right now.
been trying to come up with the highest of feelings, but there ain't nothing new under the sun, so you avoid to touch any of the cold waters, 'cause sometimes love ain't that thing you're afraid of. Show me a place where a face ain't worth the dime. I pack my bags and I'll be gone. Show me roads I must roam to get above all those waving heads I believe. Your vision's hard. It lightens up, it wear away and be taken apart by something wonderful. So you try to come up with the highest of feelings, but they say there ain't nothing new under the sun. So you avoid to touch any of the cold waters, 'cause sometimes love ain't that thing you're afraid of. Your vision's hard, it lightens up, it wear away, be taken apart by something wonderful, by something wonderful, by something
Tell them I'm staying right here. Tell them I'm switching my gear. Yeah. Tell them I'm just getting started. Tell them this year's my year. Ay. Tell them I'm staying right here. Tell them I'm switching my gear. Yeah. Tell them I'm just getting started. Tell them this year's my year. Ay. I've been this field since the womb. I'll take the man to the tomb. Yeah. Now they all ask what I'm doing. Well, you see it soon. Say that they know what to do. Say I should listen to you. Yeah. Y'all don't know what I've been doing. Trust me, you don't got a clue. Take the talk to my front door. Only fiends coming through the bay. Got my problems, I want more. Lead the past up in the past. The way I'm moving, need a hard pass. All class with a book bag. In the night with that all blade. Hang it up, then no call back. Yeah, I got time and it's all on my mind, so I tell them I'ma let it out. Yeah, and I got guap, but you know I can't stop, so I tell them I'ma dead it now. Yeah, I got green and I gotta switch cheese, but I'm looking for the cheddar now. That shit was all bad, now I'm coming to get last, and this year's looking better now. Tell them I'm staying right here. Tell them I'm switching my gear. Yeah. Tell them I'm just getting started. Tell them this year's my year. Ay. Tell them I'm staying right here. Tell them I'm switching my gear. Yeah. Tell them I'm just getting started. Tell them this year's my year. Ay. Tell them that. 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 Yeah. Tell them that. 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 Ay, how long was I gone for? Pop more than some popcorn. Gotta drive, can't stop for. All the talk, there's no time for it. Blowing up like Lampore. Crowd wanting that encore. Tom Ford is what I wore, and I made it that what I bought it for. Now the speaker's so fluent. I'm at the back like I'm Ewan. Yeah, they wanna keep me so stagnant. I make a hit, keep it moving. Up in the morning, I'm brewing. They going nowhere, I knew it. They tryna keep me from making it. I swear they looking so Judas. Feel like Messi with the goals. Will I make it? I don't know. Time is running out the back door. Pray to God to open doors. Couple bands for the shows. Hey, making money off the flows. Yeah, I just had to go show y'all. Gotta keep them on their toes. Tell them I'm staying right here. Tell them I'm switching my gear. Yeah. Tell them I'm just getting started. Tell them this year's my year. Ay. Tell them I'm staying right here. Tell them I'm switching my gear. Yeah. Tell them I'm just getting started. Tell them this year's my year. Ay. Tell them that. 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 Yeah. Tell them that. 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 Hey, it's 2018. Yeah, come on, tell them that. Man, everything in 2017, I don't want to hear about it no more. Okay? Yeah, cause big things are brewing. I mean, big things popping in the city, you know. Yeah, that's all you need to know. Don't tell them that.
was disgusting. Oh my God, June. Oh.
Absolutely devastating.
He's actually in a really good spot for his teammate to watch over him and give him assistance, but no one really watching the main run up. And oh, what a trophy system collateral kill!
Oh, they gotta get on the point. They gotta get on the point. They're gonna run out of time. Can they contest? They are with 1.4 seconds. And Phil is gonna go down. We are gonna be seeing him now. No, out of the point, and Wave Runners by the skin of their teeth. They're gonna be able to hold on.
Can he play from horse? Oh, holy! He's gonna get another one.
As Hoy will quick scope heavy.
But it's gonna not necessarily translate to control from the bottom lane, as Legacy just being an absolute nuisance here with his team just getting such a back control here.
Kill is gonna get hustled down to a 2v2. They should have had the man up, and now Austin's gonna try to get one. He's gonna look for the double, can't quite get it. Zuxium, the last man alive, and now it's Zuxium trying to finish off the team. He's gonna stun in there, C1. One's gonna push out, it's gonna get taken out. Zuxium can finish it right here, 7 points left. Taking out another one more pushes out. He's gonna get taken out by teammates, and that's gonna be Hype eSports taking map number 1.
I see it now, I see it now.
And we are back here live. Little K7 League Season 3 coming at you. FBI Tugboat here with my man Kamaka. We got Connie down there producing away and making our jobs as casters just so much easier, and we do appreciate that. Now we got Hyped coming on in here to their contenders. Yes, that is their Living Nightmare squad. Living Nightmare undefeated as of right now, Kyle.
Yes, they're undefeated in series. Only lost 2 maps this entire season, Tug, which is a pretty damn good stat line if you do ask me. Hyped eSports, not quite so lucky. They have only won 3 maps and lost 6, as you'll see on the scoreboard we show later. They're going to have a tough time up against Living Nightmare. I'm going to be totally honest with you. The Hyped eSports team, they've been kind of changing the roster up a little bit, so much so to where we don't have an exact graphic for them right now. But on that note, we are going to be checking out the exact score lines that I showed you, that I talked about, excuse me. Natural Talent, they are 9-1 on map count right now, and Living Nightmare right beneath them. Only lost 1 more map than them.
Yes, sir. Valiant Gaming coming through 2-1, 7 on the map wins, 3 on the map losses. Everybody else outside of there, given the 2 teams are undefeated, going to be looking at the negative win-loss ratio for right now. Valkyrie 1-2, Swear Society 1-2, Indiana Syndicate 1-2, Hype eSports 1-2, God Gaming, the only squad so far in your Division B that have not taken a match win. They have taken a few map wins. That's not going to be enough for them so far. Plenty of K7 League left in the Season 3 situation. And we got Hype eSports taking on Living Nightmare. Hype eSports takes this. They'll be rocketing up from, what is that, 7th position technically from map wins, losses, and whatnot, to, depending on how they do it, if they win again, either above Valkyrie or above Valiant. So this is literally a potential for a 7th place to rocket up to a 7th place victory. Wait,
Yeah,
no, they can't get above Valiant because Valiant has 7 map wins, excuse me. They can get
And they both
above
defeated
Valkyrie or
them.
below Valkyrie. No, above Valkyrie. Yep, excuse me, sorry.
Valkyrie will actually be slightly out of their reach, Tug, because Valkyrie, remember, they just won one, so this is a little bit out of date because Valkyrie is now 2-2.
Yeah, very good point,
And Valiant Gaming has actually defeated Hype eSports, so they cannot surpass them without getting more series wins than them, is how I think this goes. But yeah, we are going to be taking a look now at the maps. We've got the what, the why, and now we've got the where. It is going to be Hardpoint on Garrison, and then Checkmate, and then Garrison, and then Checkmate, and then Garrison is the synopsis of this, Tug. Only 2 maps the entire night.
Yes, sir. Garrison, Checkmate. If you don't like him, too bad. We love Garrison. We love Checkmate here at the K7 League. Starting those off on a Garrison Hardpoint, not against it whatsoever. Search and destroy. I guess I'm just kind of glad we're doing that on the Checkmate. Garrison there for the control. Hardpoint on Checkmate. We'll just leave that there. It exists. Search and destroy on the Garrison for the 5th map if we do get down there, Kyle.
Honestly, I don't think Checkmate is that bad of a hardpoint map. The only hill that I think is not so great is the final hill, which you can only really kill the contester off of if you have a complete and utter flank around the back of your enemy. It's basically impossible to take that guy off of if you have the not so close spawns, and it's basically impossible to get him off of it. Other than that, great map. Glad it's not in control though, and we are getting in here to our first of many garrisons. It's going to be a hard point. It's not a very wide map in terms of lanes, but it's a very tall map because you technically got 3 little levels to this map. You got under the tank, you got on the bridge, you've got just mid-level of the map. It's a very tall map, Tug.
I'm with it. And then, I mean, you kind of consider in your rep position over there by HVAC, like what we're looking at is in completely kind of like 2 different levels kind of on that under part as well. So given that one's under, you can almost kind of say it's like reaching into the 4th level sort of, but a very busy map regardless is your garrison. It'll be extremely busy here on your hard point, the unlimited respawn game mode. Stun checks across the middle as is tradition. These 2 teams will be going at it. Living Nightmare 3-0, undefeated as of right now, looking to keep that record alive. Hype eSports looking for their second match win, excuse me.
Yeah. It is like an ogre, as Shrek would say. They both have layers. Anyways, Hype eSports getting in for a solid contest. Turbo trying to get flanked, but he does totally turn and take him down with a little bit of assistance here. Living Nightmare, they have been a pretty damn good team so far. Hasn't changed a bit since their first match of the league. I don't think they've made a single roster change. Complete opposite for Hype eSports. And so far, it is definitely showing in the kill count. Octane, who is a pretty dang good player that I at least recognize, is the only one with a significant amount of kills, over 1.
Yeah, Nefarious right now, Turbo, Cynical, and Exert showing up from your Living Nightmare squad. 60 seconds on first hard point, can be yielding out 34 for Living Nightmare, 33 for Living Nightmare, only a couple for Hype eSports. As it is, their attention was on the second. They've taken the first 10 seconds off this one so far.
Now they are going to be getting a good position set up here. Octane trying to make sure that they don't lose it by taking down 2. Oh, that's so good from Octane. Like I said, this is a recognizable name. He's definitely made a little bit of a name for himself in the AM scene. 7-2 right now. He is the best thing going for Hype eSports right now. Does get taken down mid-map, though, and Damon definitely got something to worry about here. Full push from behind here. Actually, that kind of flips the spawns at an opportunity for Hyped eSports to get the rotation. Oh, they do kind of weaken them a little bit to at least where they can't push out of it right away. Hyped eSports, if they play their cards right, they can get a good setup here, only giving up 20 seconds on the last point and even surpass their opponents on this one.
Just like that, everybody outside of Cynical moves towards the middle in this next hard point. Exert from the outside does get shot. Attention from Keys. Keys gets out of that one, and his Rao gets put down long range right here. Hype eSports taking the first 10 seconds or so off this one. Living Nightmare looking to make that a non-issue.
This is looking like a potential. This is a precariously placed position here for Hyped eSports. Living Nightmare getting positions more and more as they go along. They're just encroaching on them ever so slightly every second, getting kills. But yeah, good. Hyped eSports is going to get even more kills than they did. Still holding it down. Exert trying to come around the corner and work some magic, but gets wall banged to death. And now Hyped eSports have the lead, just like I said. They were allowed to get a lot of positioning going on here because they got enough kills to prevent a push through, and now they are thoroughly in the lead.
Yes, they are. Looking the other way right now. Nefarious at 1-7, 1-8. As Octane goes on a 5 killing spree, 12-3, quadrupling up as of right now. As Hype eSports looking to the new hard point. And the next shift of attention. Spawning outside, Octane has his number for right now. Not gonna get the finishing blows on that. Gonna turn the attention to the next hard point. That's smart. Don't want to give too much attention to a single kill. Octane falls across the middle catwalk. There's a couple Living Nightmare players now lighting up this kill feed.
Yeah, another thing they don't want to do is kill that guy when he could potentially be anchoring bad spawns for their opponents, but kill's going to be going the way of Living Nightmare. They do get out of it. Octane with a nice little shot punch there, basically breaking the hill and trying to get up in there. He knows he's weakened, and his teammate is suppressing the living daylights out of him. He's gonna not get too greedy with it. He realizes that they can just suck up this time and force him out here. Get in a better position here, Tug. At least they're getting time, and now they're almost double Living Nightmare's time. Holy crap. Living Nightmare was the undefeated team coming into this. They've only lost 2 maps total, Tug, and they might be losing one right off the bat to Hype Esports, who is 1 and 2.
Bro, we're looking at a double-up situation right now for Hype Esports. This is the first hard point. There's so much momentum. There's so much foot-forward potential here, and Hype Esports is all over it. They have been all over every single one of these rotations so far. This, honestly, right now is the best setup that Living Nightmare has had across these now 4 hard points.
They're just getting absolutely smoked. Not necessarily by Hyped Esports totally, but Octane. The guy is 15 and 6. That's almost triple positive. He's basically a do-it-all type of player. Spawns flipping, and they got to make sure that they kill at least one of those sides. They want to make sure that they spawn them out towards this tank side if they want to keep them nice and locked down easily, but that does totally not go their way. Octane is still looking good, but so is Keys. He's starting to pick up the time for his team, not the time, but the kills for his team as well. And he's allowing his teammates to get in positions to get some kills as well. Still a lot of time going into the hands of Hyped Esports that really needs to go in the hands of Living Nightmare, and they can totally break out of this. Sometimes it's possible to hold them in those back tank spawns and get a lot of time off of P1, but not going to be possible here based on Hyped Esports positioning, Tug.
He on board with Keys now, took a couple shots from the back, and now he's trying to answer to those. Rotating back around, first 10 seconds to go goes Living Nightmare, and Ral and Keys just put down instantly. Entry frag there is Damon against the Nefarious player, 5 and 13 for him, is Living Nightmare now on top of this one. 38 seconds they take on this, they'll have had that opposition factor so far down, and Rat Hole Octane takes that one as well. 17 and 18 for this guy, more than doubling up still, Kyle.
Yeah. They know exactly what they got to do. All they got to do is pretty much contest and make sure that they don't at least cap them off of this and that they don't, at most, give up their positions on next. They might be in a little bit of a tough spot with no one top green. Living Nightmare not going to know that, though, so they're just going to keep on pushing through like they normally would, as if there was a guy up there. Ral sitting pretty. They know he's there. Child coming out from lights is going to take him down for the count. Now Hyped Esports, potentially bad spot, but oh, I totally didn't see who was playing there. Octane going to fry one. But still, Damon, he's going to be able to hold it down here while the spawning out Hyped Esports going to be able to get back in position, maybe.
Grenades out and more. That's not going to be enough. Octane continuing on his reign of terror from the top as of right now. Nefarious forced back here. And if there was some, you know, magical voice in his ear that said, oh, he only has 6 shots, maybe that would have been pushed right now, as it is not the issue. Living Nightmare taking the lead now with 30 seconds left on this outside point where it's notoriously hard to crack. Octane trying on this one as a member of Hype takes down teammate as well. Unfortunate. Not going to be a member from Living Nightmare falling until Nefarious, or until Turbo, falls there towards the end. Nefarious now down on point. 12 seconds or so will be rewarded to Hype Esports.
That's a great kill to get. I mean, in margins as close as this, those are great kills too, though, Tug. I gotta be totally honest. Cynical completely halting the rotation attempt. Hyped Esports, they're only gonna get within a couple points of their opponents, but that lead is gonna start growing because of the space that Cynical got for them there. They now have to go the way of Turbo, and he is nice and ready for them and prepared. Hyped Esports making some split pushes. They're gonna have to at most wait for their opponents, or at least push up and potentially die. This is a great spot for Living Nightmare to be in, as their lead is only extending.
With it, 1 AR and 1 SMG really popping off from Living Nightmare. The other one not putting up positive numbers as of right now. Hype Esports on top here. Turbo takes down one, looking to Octane. That's not going to happen so easily. Typical Octane is doing Octane things. 20 seconds left on here. That'll be a huge momentum towards this. They think every second they'll be tied. Not going to happen. Octane comes in right here, puts player down where he stands. They'll probably abandon this around 7 seconds or so. That's usually where that time comes in.
They'll probably have at least one guy sit back and suck up that final time, but actually, no. They're playing this very, very carefully. Turbo pushed up, and that's pretty dang smart. They're just waiting for themselves to be in a position where they can all push as a team. But Exert holding down Dark solo. He does take down one, but Octane sitting pretty and ready to get the kill. He's coming over the top now. He's going to find another 2 with a little bit of help from his teammates. Spawns, flip, kind of, not really, actually. Living Nightmare still sustained them despite the fact that they were completely uprooted from them, you would think. But I guess Hype Esports didn't push back far enough. And now Octane, he's going to have to go and do a little bit of work at that pulls off before the kill totally came out. Probably thought he got it and pulled off too early, but this is still a great spot for Hyped Esports, nonetheless, stopping the time capture and getting next spawns.
Brawl coming out here, finding 2, is not able to live through that as he tries to engage a little bit of damage on Hyped Esports now with another lead change here, Kyle. We saw a Swear Society Valkyrie matchup that was absolutely marked by those through and through, and now the last 5 seconds or so from Living Nightmares, they went initially back coming into what will probably be the last hard point. And no, probably, this really depends on its contest.
It really does depend. Exert in a great spot to spoil them here. He's in the back while his teammates are pushing forward. Octane, the only one left, does take down one. I guess they're all dead now. All the people that were potentially able to kill Octane. He's one on objective, does get him off, stops the time at least to allow his teammates to catch the people now trying to suck up the time themselves, forcing a push out from Living Nightmare. They're not totally down and out of this yet. Even if they do not get even one more contest on this, is not enough to win it, but they still do. Octane and the guys, they're going to be frying on the objective, completely clearing it off and getting into their own hands again. The Living Nightmare keeping contingency plans themselves. This is a very, very hard to pin down situation for both teams. Everyone in a spoil position for getting a total lockdown, so it's really anybody's game at this point, Tug.
25 seconds now for Living Nightmares. They're looking, this one will almost guarantee be at 35 seconds for Hype, 25 for Living Nightmare. Hyped on top of this one to begin with. Damon falling, headshots there from the Living Nightmare player. A lot of Hyped Esports kills off the top here. Turbo's there, pulls out the pistola, not able to get it done. Now lead change here again, Cal. Hyped Esports looking at 230.
All they really gotta do is just sit and wait and make sure those spawns don't go away. They're in a position where they can shell anyone coming into the objective. They are at an advantage here, Tug. All they have, Living Nightmare have to go in for the contest, and they can't really dedicate a lot for next, otherwise they'll probably lose. Exert getting fried. Cynical gotta go huge here, but he gets smacked as well by Ral. Just trying desperately to get it in there, but they totally cannot. Hyped Esports, David versus Goliath situation so far, Tug, as they smack them right in the forehead with a proverbial rock.
Absolutely. Hyped Esports finds their 4th map win against a team that has 9-2, has not dropped a match so far. Fantastic stuff. Hyped, again with that new roster, looks like it's working so far here, Kyle.
I mean, the new roster, all you really need to look at is Octane. The guy went and got, the last time I looked before that final hill, he had 34. I'm sure he got even more than that towards the end. Again, he is the man that is making it happen, Tug. He is just he makes moves, he makes money moves, and he is going to be getting his team the first round win of the night. They're going to be going into the Search and Destroy now, which, I mean, Living Nightmare, they've looked pretty dang good in so far, but Hyped Esports, I mean, Octane, he's just been an absolute huge factor. Ral has been doing a really nice job as well. So Hyped Esports, while they try and get the chemistry together, I think that they still have enough skill individually to maybe get a little bit of, good things rolling here up against Living Nightmare. You know what I'm saying?
I mean, individual performances are really what Search and Destroys are dependent upon in so many ways. Yes, we saw some slower Search and Destroy play there in that Valkyrie versus Valkyrie versus Swear Society matchup, the first on our K7 here for today. But even with that through here, the individual performance will still sing true. Most of these rounds, if they are relevant to the vast majority of Search and Destroy rounds in our new Call of Duty here, will be going down to kills, not necessarily plants and diffuses and whatnot. If that individual performance still sings true, I really, really see Hyped Esports putting up another really, really great foot forward here in the Search and Destroy.
I do want to put a little bit of a caveat into what you said there, Tug. It is most of the time about getting a lot of kills, but if you saw the last match that we just casted between Valkyrie and their opponents in Swear Society, they had less kills than them. Most of them were negative, and they still won the game overall. So
round 11, Yep.
Yeah, it's very possible to just outsmart your opponents, but it takes a special kind of player and a special kind of togetherness to get that done that I don't know if Hyped Esports totally has yet. But what they do have is the X factor in Octane and Ral. Living Nightmare, they've been looking pretty good altogether, even though they've also had some, flashy plays from like Cynical and a few other players like that, Tug. I think it's going to be a very open match based on what we saw in that, if I had to call it before the game was on, I would have said Hyped Esports probably loses. But now I don't even know. So I think it's best to just leave it up to how the game goes.
Yeah, exactly. There's not really much of a way to call this after a Hyped Esports incredibly impressive Hardpoint there. Search and Destroy is up in the air. We'll be back with you guys. Nope, that's the game starting right now, I believe. We'll be starting into game now. The Search and Destroy on the Checkmate starts in just a few seconds. Again, we got Garrison, Checkmate, Garrison, Checkmate, Garrison, all the way down from gaps 1 to 5 on this K7 League Season 3, continuing now.
Yeah, talk about COD timing there, Tug. We're getting in there with Checkmate. We saw this in our last match we casted just about an hour ago at this point. And it, like we said, it's a map that you can get an angle on any position on from a couple of different spots. It's definitely a little bit of a chess type of map, hence the name. Like we said, we already made that joke once tonight, so no, don't feel the need to laugh at it again. But yeah, Hyped Esports going to be on the defense. Living Nightmare trying to get those wall bangs early on to get some intel or maybe even some picks. They're still playing this ever so slowly and tactfully like we typically see.
On board the Turbo now, setting up at this left wing plane. Players inside, stun checks and more. Did get the information from the Simtex, now he gets in, tries to take advantage of that. Simtex meets him, he says, well, maybe now's not a good time. Come back later.
Yeah, come again later. They're just going to send another one. They're just doing a great job of delaying with the utility here, Tug. That's usually something we say about a game like CSGO, but they're putting utility to very good use here, Hyped Esports. Just making it so Living Nightmare don't have a lot to fall back on in case of a bad attack. They're going to make them push in very desperately here. As you see, Hyped Esports are nice and ready. Oxbane hovering the angle. Damon, he's going to see him go for the plant. Totally smacks him upside the head. And I do believe, yes, that is bombed down in a very not good position. Living Nightmare, they cannot rotate. They only have 2 people up. It's a 2v2, actually. Exert trying to get some shots from an off angle, and he does get one. Oxbane feeling cornered, and he pushes out the guy. He knows where he is, and he is just going to be sitting and waiting. Bomb, he's going to have to go very quickly. Oxbane, oh my god, that is such an incredible position. He's going to put him off the plant. Incredible from Oxbane there.
Yep. First round going the way of Hyped Esports yet again, so the momentum continued here, Kyle. Top lane continues to be where the Search and Destroy rounds are decided. See if that holds true through the rest of our Search and Destroy rounds. Hyped Esports up 1-0 now in the Search and Destroy.
That is picture-perfect positioning from Octane, I gotta say. They did delaying with the utility. Their positioning was just something to be really, really feared there, Tug. Now going on to the attack, I'm sure they're going to try and get some off angles, much like Exert did to get a kill to open up the game for his team. But no, actually, Hyped Esports just going to be looking to push right down. They see Exert, and they're probably going to be calling it out for number 5 to potentially get a little bit of a kill there, at least so he's wary of it. But kill first going into the hands of Living Nightmare.
Didn't happen in a better time either if you're a Living Nightmare fan. Now Keys, Damon left alive for the Hyped Esports squad. 60 seconds on this clock. Both members taking the top lane to try and get something else done. Bob's again in a very, very inconspicuous, or a very conspicuous place.
An inconvenient place. They are going to be...
Conspicuous place, yes.
Yeah, an inconvenient and conspicuous place. I'm sure Living Nightmare have an inkling that they have this down pat. And yeah, now Hyped Esports are going to have to rotate to try and get a little bit of a way back into the plane. It's going to be tough for them to do as Exert trying to get a position. We know that he's a very strong AR, and he's watching for the potential rotation here. Hyped Esports, their hand is being forced. They basically got to go in and barrel stuff a position that is in the hands of the enemy's Turbo. You see that spot. He's taking a little bit of a third-person peek up in there.
No.
And, oh, God, dude, that is... not nice. I love that spot, and he used it very well. Look at that. He totally saw the push-up coming well before his opponents were able to even react.
I mean, yes, a great forecast, not a great execution if you're a Hyped Esports member. The team frag comes out from the Simtex there towards the end. Turbo's at 4-1. Exert has not died across these Search and Destroy rounds so far. Even across the Hyped Esports win either. That's really the big name of the game there.
Turboed right now, the man doing it all right now. He's got 4-1. He sees a grenade come out, so he knows there's at least somebody around here. has a general idea where they are. There's typical positions here, Tug. He's checking for one. He knows that he is there, getting confirmation with the grenade that he is very, very close. He's going to get a little bit tagged up in himself, so they're just going to make sure he can't get out of there. And I'm sure that they're going to eventually try and get an angle on Octane so they can more easily take down Damon. Regardless, Hyped Esports in a good position to counter pretty much anything, but they just got to make sure that they don't get picked. Otherwise, that could quickly fall apart.
Turbo will be meeting with Raul soon as we're still up top here. Much closer. There you go. Turbo, Raul. Oh, man. No idea how. Yeah, I have no idea how Keys didn't hear that, honestly.
That is tough, especially if Keys had been able to kill him. Turbo had bomb, he would have had bomb down, and they would have had to go that way.
Yeah.
And time might not have necessarily allowed them to do that. Regardless, it is now a 4-2 again in the hands of Living Nightmare. Hype Esports in a tough spot. Damon getting one, but instantly trade out, and Octane doesn't even get that much. They are now going to be 2-1 after a tough first round, Living Nightmare.
250, 227. That was the point totals there on the hard point. That's Exer just absolutely mailing shots to a different area code on that one, different zip code and everything. Had to pay extra on postage. Down the middle right here, we talk about this being a 3-lane kind of map sometimes, but that middle lane, especially given that it's kind of split between top plane and bottom plane, much more so just kind of more centralized activity and locations down on either side of the plane, like down lower, I really feel like.
Regardless, Living Nightmare, they are going to be playing their lives incredibly well. No more than 2 deaths a person. In fact, it's mostly 1 death per person, which is a great stat line considering we're in the 4th round. He's not really been having a whole lot of impact on the game, positive impact on the game. He's been dying a whole bunch, and he dies again, Tug. He is second blood after Exert. Turbo within the guys, they do take a little bit of damage, but they are pretty much right back in position. Damon trying to pull on back because I don't really know what they got planned here, but he gets caught in the rotation. That is so dang unfortunate, dude. They now have to backtrack for the bomb after having basic site control over A. This is not optimal.
No, it is not. And I feel like that kind of comes off the back of sort of like a panic play almost. Now at the very end, Living Nightmare putting a cap onto this 3rd round. The dominance on the Search and Destroy and the overall momentum of this game now looking much more the way of Living Nightmare. A team that is again coming into this one 3-0, having only dropped 2 maps. They already dropped 1 tonight. That's 3 total now.
I mean, they have looked really, really good in the Search and Destroy in all of their games, Tug, I'm going to be totally honest. So it's not surprising that they are popping off right now. Turbo, he's almost on streaks. Let's just point that out real quick.
Search and Destroy. Like, that's just that's ridiculous. That's unheard of. It's not your typical thing. There you go. He just needs 1 more. He's going to shoot up Raul a whole bunch, but totally doesn't get the kill because Nade is stopped by the trophy system. Raul just going to sort of pigeonhole himself into the spawn, but no, he actually gets a really good spot on him, but still gets fried. And Turbo now on streaks. When it looked like he might die, that's a good pickup from Keys. That's his first of the game. He's looking for more, but that still doesn't stop the fact that he is the last one. He is now down. Living Nightmare get the round and the streaks to potentially propel themselves forward in another one. Yeah, I'm not saying that streaks gets you like a guaranteed round win by any means, especially on a map like Checkmate, where just simply getting anything aerially can be kind of hard the way this map is set up. Obviously, down the middle here, things will be blocked off. Yes, they're indicated on where you drop these streaks, like actively on your selection screen, but still, it's going to be kind of hard, and obviously, and always takes a player out of the action for when they do get called. 9-1 for Turbo. It's hard to argue against that.
Potential for kills, not necessarily there because of the map run, but potential for intel still well and truly there. If and so he wants, he can take a peek at the mini-map and see generally where there are for about a second if he's ever questioning it.
But like really, is there's that much of a question on Checkmate about where players are? Like, you can pretty much circle like 4 different areas where like 2 on either side and then one each in plain side about where players go, right?
You're very right about that, Tug. I'm gonna give that one to you. Hyped Esports chilling on the inside. They've got Nefarious to deal with, and it looks like everyone else playing their cards very close to their chest in the back of the map. We've been seeing that a lot from Living Nightmare. They play very close together to get a trade or even prevent the need for the trade and just get the kill by basically baiting their teammates in a good way. Hyped Esports having a really hard time of actually breaking in here because they know what's going down here, Tug, and that is a tough 2 kills to give away as time is ticking away.
going one way as well, and Nefarious knows that Damon is the last one here. He's getting audio, definitely. Damon now last life as Aria falls, and Living Nightmare just puts an absolute bow on top of that. Now 5th round, moving on to that 6th round, excuse me. Their 5th match, oh my god, map win. And then now they're moving on to what could be their last.
Yeah, this might be curtain call for Hyped Esports on this map. They just got to take the fact that they won the first map and go on into the next one. It's the same map as the first one was, so maybe they're happy to play on Garrison. But yeah, you're right. I see what you're pointing out there, Tug. 9-1. Turboed, he's a man that cannot do anything wrong right now. Apparently, he's got streaks, and I don't know, he might save them for a rainy day just in case, but we're not even going to see if he decides to do them or not, because he gets insta-beamed off of his heady by Rel. Gets it right that time off that head glitch. But trade coming out the other end as Rel will be taken down in return. Nefarious, pretty much everybody's still on a killing spree here, as Living Nightmare ready to take up the torch for Turbo, their fallen teammate.
Yeah, Exert finds his second in this. He had 1 across the last map. Cynical has on 3, Nefarious on 5, meaning he fell 0-1 down and has not gotten killed since. Again, that was the Hyped Esports round number 1 right there. Averaging 1 kill per round since then for Nefarious. Exert looking to get closer and involved in a 3v3 situation. That's Octavane and Keys kind of on the other side here, but Keys obviously way farther than Octavane. Or than Damon.
Great kill for Damon and also from Octavane. That's a huge 2 kills as it leaves Cynical all by his lonesome. Bomb is down, and he does not really have a way of getting it. He's just going to try and maybe get some kills, save the possibility of the streaks, because, yeah, he's going to see one there react very quickly to Octavane, as he's now on 4. That's better than just getting a straight-up loss. Hyped Esports, they're still in it, but it's going to take quite a lot. They're going to need 4 in a row.
Yeah, so what, 2 more kills from one player already having streaks there for Living Nightmare. This might be a quick 6th round, especially if they're able to kind of utilize those streaks earlier. 4 streak still for Cynical is, yeah, that's really what we're talking about. 2 more for him and he gets it. Hype Esports, like, Living Nightmare could drop 0 streaks is what I'm saying. Hype Esports could take a hold of the round, and as long as a couple kills come out from Living Nightmare, then they'll have like 2 members of their squad with 3 streaks between the 2.
Yeah, that's a good thing to point out. They've just got the get out of jail free card if things start going more south than they have in the last round. Living Nightmare, they still seem firmly in the driver's seat, but that could still change. If they can win 5 rounds in a row, so can Hyped Esports based on what we've seen so far in the Hardpoint at least. Don't know if that rings true here. But Hyped Esports are doing the right things. They're playing very methodically, except until Ral runs right up into the path of Cynical. Getting up even further to streaks, but ending it right on there. It's a huge kill from Keys, denying even more streaks and getting things right back on even, as Turbo still using that nasty peeking angle to tell if and when people push on into the site.
You can definitely see it. There's Octavane on the other side. He was waiting to take down the trophy system there because he did not want to give away his position. That makes a lot of sense. Smart plays. Nefarious losing this one outside. Damon taking that. Now a 3v2 situation for Hyped Esports. No streaks used on this, so again, Living Nightmare still living out here with the kind of a jail free card. Not completely, but kind of. Wow, okay, never mind, doesn't matter. Living Nightmare coming through. 3 kills coming just as fast as you can say it. There towards the end, after the members of Hyped Esports show their faces outside. That's it right there. Exeter with a fantastic angle right there, and putting a bow on their 6th round.
I'm speechless, Tug. I can't really believe that just... I can't believe that just happened right there, if I'm totally honest with you. That they seemed like they had the inroad and the possibility to get that plant off and get another round, but I mean, Living Nightmare, they just completely slammed the door shut on that one, proverbially. But yeah, it's now 1-1. So I pretty much anticipated Living Nightmare winning that regardless of the scoreline, because just how well they've done in it so far. Hyped Esports, they still have potential to do some good in this control, albeit different team, but never mind. Hyped Esports is a totally different team. I was going to say that they've done good in the control in the past, even up against teams like Valiant, but totally different squad. Can't really say that. They've looked really good in the respawn so far, though, and it was on the same map. So maybe they can put something together here. Tug and Living Nightmare is going to have to be taking one of the respawns eventually here. You know what I'm saying?
And I hear you. I hear you. Cannot just take Search and Destroy downs, even if they are 6-2 affairs, really. We'll be back with that action in just a minute here. Hyped Esports taking on the Living Nightmare squad. Living Nightmare again coming in this match point, or excuse me, into this match without having dropped one yet. Be back in a minute.
With the highest of feelings, but there ain't nothing new under the sun, so you avoid to touch any of the cold waters, 'cause sometimes love ain't that thing you're afraid of. Show me a place where a face ain't worth the time. I pack my bags and I'll be gone. Show me roads I must roam to get above all those waving hands I believe. Your vision's hard, it lightens up, it wear away and be taken apart by something wonderful. So you try to come up with the highest of feelings, but they say there ain't nothing new under the sun. So you avoid to touch any of the cold waters, 'cause sometimes love ain't that thing you're afraid of. Your vision's hard, it lightens up, it wear away and be taken apart by something wonderful, by something wonderful, by something wonderful.
And we are back. Living Nightmare taking on Hyped Esports. Tied series here. Kyle, 227-254. Hyped Esports in game number 1, the Hardpoint. 6-2 for Living Nightmare in the Search and Destroy. A more one-handed affair.
I really think this is going to be the pivot point, Tug. If Living Nightmare doesn't win this, the control, it's going to be tough for them to win the Hardpoint. I really estimate here. So this is their best opportunity. It's the most respawn mode that's like a Search and Destroy with the limited lives. It can really hurt Octane by running them out of lives here potentially is what I think could be the thing here. Octane being the very huge factor of how they won that Hardpoint. But yeah, Living Nightmare, so far, they're getting control over this objective. They're contesting it, stopping the clock, and trying to get some kills. There's some good stuff from them. But yeah, they're actually going to be finishing him off there. So that's a good start from Living Nightmare.
First tick, RAL plays a fantastic bait and switch with his teammate. Ends up falling to a very well-placed fragmentation grenade. Cannot keep the team alive otherwise. Shot punching more! Octane almost falling on that one. Tears the end. Does take the the punch, but not the shot. Fantastic stuff. Had to switch the pistol to get it done. 7 seconds. RAL again just made the whipping boy here for Hype eSports squad.
Can I just point something out real quick? It's already done, but Exert. The guy, even though there was some guy shooting inside of lights there, he had complete and utter faith in his teammate to watch his back, even though he could have easily turned the corner and shot him in the back. That shows that these guys have trust, they have experience with each other, and they have faith that each other will cover their backs. As they take the B objective, it's not looking like their faith is unbounded. Nefarious is in the back and could potentially cause some trouble, at least cutting off the reinforcements in the form of Ral. He's now coming around the back to try and do even more damage, but Damon on his case does shut that avenue of attack. Turbo gonna weaken one, but no one really there to get the immediate trade. So Living Nightmare gonna be in a little bit of a difficult position here, positioning-wise, but not life-wise.
Gotta say, for the first time in this matchup, Living Nightmare showing 1 out of 4 players with positive KD. Hype eSports with multiples. 3-1 for Damon as well is really the big numbers here. Octane is positive as well at 6 and 5. That's really where the attention goes to. The individual gunfights. We talked about this earlier. Doing a fantastic job defensively holding on this point, but this doesn't really go down to lives. Exert put on a clinic right here. Dead even. Cynical's 2 and 3 just outside.
Octane, he is literally half of his team's kills
God.
right now. More than half of his team's kills now. He has 10 kills and the rest of his team has 8. He is literally making a noticeable difference in this game in the death count. 11 lives left for Living Nightmare in 30 seconds. They're going to have to start making some moves here if they want to get this attacking win. But at what point do you chalk it and say, let's just try and address this life deficit, of which there is a huge amount of lives separating us. They don't have a lot of time left here, Tug, and they are getting absolutely routed and shot to pieces. That is going to do it. That is
Pieces,
definitely going
ribbons,
to do
everything in between. Hype eSports is coming out absolutely glowing right now. Every player is positive. Rao's 1 kill outside of that. Doubled up and more is Octavane as Hype eSports puts its bow on this with time limit reached. Control going very one-sided. We talked, it's a classic statement. Respawns might go one way. Search and destroys might go another, but it's always going to be that fifth. And the way this game is going right now, especially with the way how one-handed the search and destroy was earlier, Control goes to Hype eSports and they go back to a hardpoint that they already won. Living Nightmare might be in a bad situation.
Speaking of doing something single-handedly, Tug, Octane 11 and 5 after just one singular round. He got, even if they got all the elims for the other team, he would have gotten a third of the kills, like straight up. He has more kills than the rest of his team almost combined. Like they have 2 more than that. They have 13. He has 11, but that's still an incredible ratio compared to the rest of your teammates. Now they're on the defense and they're getting even more kills. I mean, on the attack and getting more kills. Living Nightmare, they don't really have any positioning on B. They have been completely uprooted again. Damon allowed to get in good spots, and he catches the person trying to fill the gap. And this could easily turn out of control.
8 and 3, bro. Key is just waiting to pull the trigger against the system. It does happen. Looking to get it close. Does not get those last few kills, but with Ral earlier going 6 and 5, now dying to 6 and 6, every hit member of Hype eSports positive. That's going a little bit different way, but it was the truth for a very short period of time. That's really, again, the reason why we're pulling attention to it is that Living Nightmare was enjoying that positive situation earlier throughout that entire time. Now we're looking at different situations. We're seeing the effect that it has on the overall match scores.
We were talking about Living Nightmare having streaks and the potential of that in the last one. If you notice, Octane has full streaks already. He's at 9 kill streak, dude. This is absolutely freaking
4 players on B.
Like, even he has a get out of jail free card. He doesn't even look like he needs it right now. They're about to cap B, which is the harder to take, and he's getting kills on top of that. This man is literally doing it all. Damon picking up the pieces for him, and that is going to probably do it. They have one last good push in them, but they're capping it very fast. They're taking a lot of time here, Tug. I think they're just chalking it. That is going to be another solid win for Hype eSports, this time on the attack.
Now Damon's looking down, staring down the barrel of streaks of his own. So what you're talking about is 2 different players with 2 streaks apiece. That's, I mean, I would say a healthy average of either of these is 1 kill on each, right? Like for each streak. If you really, especially if you get players kind of rotating and kind of like on the move, right? Like an average of a kill apiece for streaks is what I'm saying. Is that fair?
they're looking well and truly obese when it comes to amount of kills that they have gotten here, Tug. They're more than fat. They're obese. As Living Nightmare, they're looking a little bit emaciated right now. Cynical on 3, Exert on 7, 5 for Nefarious, and 6 for Turbo. This is 2 rounds into the game. We're usually at double digits by now, and Damon and the guys at Octane, they just look unfreaking touchable right now. This might be just one that they have to put behind them here. I don't want to count a team out this early, Tug, but I think it might very well be justified. Living Nightmare, they don't really have a whole lot going for them right now, as Hyped Esports are taking them apart piece by piece.
Oh man, Octane fallen to. It's the 1,000th time over that a player has fallen to this explosive barrel, right? A couple of shots will start it, and you get literally just a time bomb going down there closer to that bomb site on Search and Destroy. Happens again. 53 seconds, obviously going to be paused while offensive team is making progress. A lot of kills coming out from Living Nightmare, so now evening it out, 26, so technical advantage. Now as we get first progress of B, that's not made not so cynical. Falls as he's on his way to a rotation to flip spawns to try and take out 3 members. Not 100% sure what the idea is there.
I think the idea here is that they're just trying to cap B and get as many kills as they can, so that they can, you know, maybe even run their opponents out of lives with the time remaining. That seems to be the play here, Tug, because even if they do win this attack, they still got that huge life deficit to address. Look at that. Every single person on the other team well and truly behind. You don't even have to be able to do math here. You can just look at it until they are behind. So, yeah, Hyped Esports, they're pretty much chalking up B and getting it nice and ready on A. Damon, he's just been absolutely killing it in this round so far. He's looking for more, but all he does is get info for Keys, who's nice and ready to get one of them. Teammate gets the other, but now he's getting pushed. Not a problem for Keys, though, apparently, and the rest of his team, as that push is dead on arrival.
Yeah, DOA right there. Living Nightmare gonna have to come back at this one. Now, they have not dropped lives so much, only a difference of 1 coming into these next, but way easier said than done when you have a Hyped Esports squad that's playing defense like this.
Even Stevens on kills. Still a lot for Living Nightmare here to go through in terms of lives, and they have a lot of time left. For Hyped Esports, usually the defending team, if they have equal or more lives, it is going to be going their way, especially on a map like this. Damon still trying to get some kills here. He does not find one. He's up Octane, but he's not shooting at the correct guy to get that kill finished off. Not his fault. It's a tough thing to communicate in that short amount of time. And just like that, Living Nightmare are in on the goal. They are going to be power burning this, every hand on deck here. But this is the perfect time for Octane to call in his first streak, putting them off the objective and even getting one off of it, letting his team getting back in even more quickly. They do get back on, but it is going more slowly, allowing them to get back in here, Tug. And he's calling in the more streaks. They want to win it right now.
There you go. That's the one. Trophy system not going to do anything for that. Perfect timing too. Rao getting in there, getting in that, and then that's, yeah. I mean, when you're up like this, you're allowed to, not allowed. I mean, it simply makes sense, right? Hyped Esports was really experiencing a situation where they're down by lives for the first time, really by a significant margin. Now they just allow players to go on to control point, drop a whole bunch of streaks on top, and allow Damon to do Damon things.
Damon might be able to finish this one off for his team. They are basically dead, but then again, so is Hyped Esports. He stops the reinforcements. All they gotta do is kill this one last guy off. Time is stopped. This is the final gunfight here, Tug. He's gonna hop up, gets taken down. Octane's still here, though. No respawns remaining. Might not need them. He's just gotta win this gunfight, but no one there to help him out. And clock ticking in their favor. They can still do this, but they need it done soon. Living Nightmare in the prime position here, though, and they might be able to get this going even more. And they've also wasted the streaks of Octane. Raul not letting it happen, though. Takes down 2, only 1 on to cap. Damon trying to do it. Takes down 1. Damon takes down 2. That will indeed do it, Tug. Hyped Esports pushing through on the back of Damon.
Wow, so a much more close Search and Destroy, even than a 0-3 here for your control. Hyped Esports puts a cap on this one. When they come down to 2-2, but still have the even lives, but there simply is not enough time while offensive team is not contesting the control point. 0-3, fantastic stuff as Hyped Esports keeps the dream alive, now moving into a hard point that they just Took a, what, 10% on top, 227, 250 in Hardpoint 1?
Again, Tug, I am speechless. I cannot believe what we just witnessed. It was tight margins on the hard point, like you said, not so much on the search and destroy. But Hyped Esports, they're showing that they've really got a good affinity for these respawns as they take this one 3-0. And now we're going on to Checkmate again, the map that has been their struggle point, but not on this mode. This is going to be basically completely different than on the search and destroy, and the fact that they have more lives, but the same in terms of a lot of the positions are still equally as beneficial. So it really does depend on how they are feeling on this map.
That's fair. That's fair. Completely different search and destroy rounds on the Checkmate earlier were marked by much slower and methodical play. Teams trying to find a way in edgewise, and ARs trying to find initial kills off the outside. SMG players really just opting more so to spend time in top lane and wait until at least like 30, 35, even 45 seconds into this one to really try and get it going. Now, Hardpoint, there's no reason whatsoever to do that. This will be fast, loud, in your face, aggressive, and messy. I can guarantee you.
This is literally do or die time for Living Nightmare. I didn't think I would say that coming into this series with them having not lost a single series so far, but it is do or die time for them. They are 2-1 down in the series, a situation that is not very familiar to them. They've only lost 2 maps all season, that now being doubled by Hyped Esports by themselves. So yeah, this Hardpoint is going to be a tough one for both teams. I know that they're both going to be coming in with their hearts on their sleeves and trying to make some awesome plays. Like Damon, they're going to be just trying to one-up him tonight. I think that's probably play of the night so far, in my personal opinion. Tug, let me know what you think. But for me,
outside by comms tank and whatnot on this other control point after it went, yeah, that's pretty fair. Whipping around, literally turning like 180 degrees, 270 degrees, like twice. Yeah, that's gonna be the play so far there for Damon, 100%. Some fantastic stuff on stream, and again, something that Hyped Esports does at the very last few seconds to kind of keep the dream alive there, turn a 6v3 lives-wise situation, unless I'm wrong, into an even 2-2. Take 4 in a row while only losing 1. Getting on in here, though, Checkmate for the Hardpoint number 2, numero dos. See how that goes and how this fares for these two squads. It's Hyped Esports. Is everything in a bag of chips behind them right now.
Yeah, they've got a lot resting on their shoulders, Tug. They've got the weight of their org's expectations. They've got the weight of keeping that undefeated streak, and they've got the weight of the audience on their shoulders right now, as everyone staring down on them like they're through a microscope right now. Hyped Esports going to have the advantageous spawns here, trying to get an early pick as Keys does. Octane, all he does is get stuck by a grenade. Living Nightmare getting some good early time to try and goad Hyped Esports out of these good spawns with a threat of making it not matter.
But that's Turbo on 1. Turbo not judging the distance perfectly on the Syntex at 36 health. Falling to that. Doesn't matter so far. Living Nightmare all over this. All Living Nightmare all the time on first hard point thus far. First couple points now for Hyped is members of Living Nightmare spawning a little bit farther away before now coming back, and you hear spawning exactly where Cynical was, and that's decently far away.
All Living Nightmare really has to do right now is just keep the point contested, and they can just keep on going for those rotations. They've even gotten themselves a little bit of cushions to where they can just keep on going for the contests on next. They're looking pretty dang good right now, Tug. They got exactly what they needed off that first hill. Octane making it so they don't get to the second one, though. And he is just absolutely putting bullets in bodies. Living, not quite seeing him putting any in deads yet. Very respectful. But yeah, exerting the guys well and truly through on the objective. Rel, not quite so ready as Living Nightmare takes points and spawn.
It really is. This is an incredibly close one. First hard point, always up and down, but Living Nightmare now taking out a couple pieces right there. Keys finds the 2-piece, puts the Simtex perfectly divided between these two, gets a shot on either before they fall to the Simtex name. See it. I know with Black Jacket, I'd have to recall that one as well, right?
Yeah, that is a cash money Simtex content, Tug, if I gotta say so myself. And just like that, they have uprooted them from the spawns as well. This has the potential of being a very explosive finish like you predicted. Living Nightmare, they are going to be behind going into this one. Don't really have a total setup here. They've got good spawns for the next 2 hills, and Hyped Esports momentarily tripping over each other as Keys accidentally killing his teammate. Octane trying to stop the time going into their opponent's hands as he goes over the mid lane and travels over to the other wing, hitting 2. That is good, but doesn't stop the time. Only allows his teammates to push into a weakened position for their opponents. And now he's going to try and frag out Exert. Does get 1, and again, they're teeing each other up, Tug. This is a good spot for Hyped Esports, even for number 7, to push through and get these spawns.
Well, I mean, Hyped Esports winning that last gunfight and going to take the last big chunk out of this. That's an even trade here, so Hyped will stay on point for the time being. Looking to the future, and the next hard point will be in their attention and eyes, but that's Living Nightmare on top of this for right now. Cynical going to be setting up shop right outside as Turbo and Extra spawning not too far away.
Octane trying to get some kills here, but I think he's having a little bit of a laggy situation there. Never mind, he's all good, I guess, as he is now dead. At least he's still with us in the game. But yeah, Turbo is going to get taken down. Doesn't really matter. He's got pretty much everyone stacking up on the hill. Hyped Esports, they're really trying hard to get a break on this. Raul getting 1, but Contesto coming out, still guessing as to where he is. Perfect timing for the turn and the burn, but Octane susses it out, takes him down, and it is still a close game, as close as it gets. Hyped Esports are not properly set up for next, though, and it is coming a time where they got to start worrying about that, and Living Nightmare is knowing that they're worried about that, and they're going to start adjusting accordingly, too.
So we talked earlier about lead changes, see another one, but now the biggest lead difference so far is Living Nightmares taking this one on top. Not necessarily completely slayed out, but their simple point on presence situations has netted them now an almost 20-point lead as we look closer towards these next rotations. Aiming up top, aiming finding 1 top lane, always going to be a bloodbath of an area.
Tug, this is the exact hill I was talking about, that it's basically a serious pain in the butt to get people off of it if you don't have a way into the good side spawns. Damon knowing this, he's trying to push on through. They're getting around the back of Exert, and they're forcing him off to try and play position and keep their opponents off. Nice stick on Keys is going to leave Damon the only one in the back. Pivoting very well here is Living Nightmare, all things considered, but they have, I mean, they haven't even lost the spawns at a very poorly opportune time. It's just going to be a little bit contested on this one, but for the next 2 hills, they're looking pretty good if they keep these.
That is entirely fair. As we are now again to the middle of this game, we'll be going on into a little bit of listen to the Living Nightmare squad. Up now about 25 points. We'll see how they fare coming into the next.
One more. Yo, two and
I have right side. I have right side.
Backing up. I'm picking up left. Check out left.
Watch your left side.
I got you left.
Damon's one shot. They're back steps. I'm helping you in plane right now.
One wood. One Octane wood. Yo, one pushing Tetris right now. Raul Tetris.
Stop challenging. I'm not
Raul
challenging.
Tetris.
Nading.
Out, Octane.
Flash it as well. I flashed it. Flash. Wing.
I spawned out.
He's weak as fuck.
I'm nading hill. Nade the hill. We're good. Fire yourself back there, bro. You're back step. Try and play blue.
He's our exit. Top lane. And they're nice. Good help.
Back in with it. A lead maintained for Living Nightmare, but easier said than done on this one. About 20 points as a lot of deaths happen up top. Playing here is 10 seconds left. Invasion's coming in soon. Octane looking outside. Octane has been rocking the AK-74U for a while, looked like, right?
Yeah, he has been kind of pivoting between it. He's filling that flex roll very well as he gets 2. Going for, oh, there you go. Very nice for Octane. Cynical still holding down the spawns in the back to prevent a total collapse from Living Nightmare. But as next pops up, Octane, he's in a great position to spoil the situation for them. He gets the guy on the anchor. Now they're trying to pivot back towards Octane. They do get him, but they lose the objective here. And now they're going to have to push back into Keys, who is trained on exactly where they're coming from. Nefarious knows generally where he's at. He's going to try and wall bang him. Octane and the guys, they are not going to be able to get a successful total break on the objective. But, I mean, they are at least stalling out a lot of the time here. And, yeah, they might be able to get something good going on the next hill.
15 seconds or so will still bring them out to 133, so only a difference of 10 if they choose to sit the rest of the time on here. At least a few seconds will be dedicated into the rotation, but last few does look like go that way. Trade up top, Keys finding one, making it their advantage right now. Keys finding a second. That's down bottom as well. Now up top, Octane finding the flak he doesn't want, and Octane Keys both falling. Living Nightmare turns any attention, any advantage that Hype Esports over the last one fight to nil.
The good thing going for them right now, Hype Esports, is they got the spawns for the next 2 objectives. Doesn't help them out right now. They're still going to have to chow this to make sure that Living Nightmare doesn't get too far ahead and put them at a danger of losing off of a break or something like that. Hype Esports, they are going to come right on in and just utterly clear off the objective. Nefarious, the only one anywhere near getting a good position, and Keys just puts an end to that very quickly. Catching up, and they've also got good positions for the next 2 objectives. Living Nightmare, they might be in the lead right now, but they're in a serious danger zone of losing it. Tug, they've got to make some serious plays soon while they still can.
A lot of contests, as this hardpoint is always marked by Kyle. Now a 5-point situation has become basically down to a tie. Again, no official lead change here. Next hardpoint, Hype Esports is all over it.
That was a great kill from Nefarious, getting a little bit of a way in to the back lane. Keys gonna be reloading and sliding at a bad time. It's COD timing there for you again, as Living Nightmare getting the spawns and the hill time right away from Hype Esports. Literally everything they need, they just got it. Octane trying to make some sneaky, freaky plays, cheeky, freaky plays, and get some shots on in mid-lane. They go in for a solid break using that positioning, and now Octane trying to go for the spawns as well. Frying one, only one left to deal with to potentially spoil this for him, but Octane does take care of it. Spawns in their hands, minimal time lost. This is the hill that they can really hunker down on here, Tug. So as long as Hyped Esports don't lose too much ground going into this next one, they're pretty solid.
We're now just outside, excuse me, taking the next 5 seconds. A full 60 would be possible. Very, very hard, but it is possible. Now, rotation's coming in. Everybody's sprinting down to the southwest position. Keys up front will be close to that. Nefarious and Cynical not too far away. Getting it going towards the middle. Damon finding one off the head. Keys falling as well. Damon finding his second. Looking to get this one very quickly. Pick up an AK-74U to try and get these closer range engagements going, but take shots from the back and not able to keep himself alive. 15 points separating these 2 teams, Kyle.
It's a great kill from Raul to knock them completely out of their back. They can completely focus forward here now, Tug. This is exactly the position that you want to hold onto this hill. Octane, I know it's against his nature, but he's just got to not chow people. He's playing it really smart, but he gets knocked off the objective from getting shot down from low health. Now Living Nightmare, they're going to have a little bit of time on the hill, instantly taken off. I guess Cynical had a little bit of the jitters there as well. And now it is going to be a fight to the finish off of these next 2 hills. I predict it's going to end in probably these next 2 hills here, Tug. It's really going to depend on the positioning that they get from this second hill and the time, but I think that's what it's going to come down to.
Kills coming out from Hyped. They now have taken the lead up top as well. Octane dropping down bottom, giving the shimmy shake, and health is almost back up there. Takes a couple of edgewise. Now just playing it again. Octane is playing this so smart. Again, it's not in his nature to let these chows go unanswered, and that's another one down bottom after he gets the health back. Trying to answer up top. There's a second, looking for a third. From the middle. Gets damaged, but not the end, and he comes back for it. The postman always rings twice.
Oh, Tug, that is so nice from Octane. They do lose the potential for winning off of this one, but we didn't think they would anyway because it's a very contestable objective. All Damon has to do is just sit there, not die, but Cynical trying to spoil. They're sending Keys to try and deal with them now to prevent the spawns from flipping the other way. Cynical has totally given him the slip. Raul, the only one on the objective, and they have well and truly possibly taken this game away from them. Keys is in a great position to keep them out of this. Damon gonna catch one unsuspecting, and he's just gonna keep on making his way through. They're in a good spot to do this. In fact, the spawn's flipping right on back, Tug. This is not done yet, but this is gonna be a scrap straight through into the finish.
Yes, it is. Octane pulling that one out towards the end, getting the last shot on Hetty, and that's going to take him his K. As of right now, 7.8, 10-point advantage for Living Nightmares. Members from Hyped Esports trying to flow on into this one. Farther south is Damon going for a big flank on here. Trying to find the first. That's going to be the first step on this one. Flank continued from Damon. 20 points up now. Not good looks, and Hyped Esports can now not take it on this hard point.
Yeah, they can. All they got to do is really hope that their opponents don't win. They're trying to contest it. Oh, that's a great kill from Raul. 2 kills in fact, collateral. Going for the third, but can't quite do it. All he can do is team up his teammates to break them off it, which they do. Not a whole lot of time to brag about here, Tug. And in fact, they're not really set up to sustain a push from their opponents on this next objective. In fact, Raul goes down instantly. So Damon going to be hard-pressed to push up in here and get some kills. Otherwise, they will lose. In great positions literally everywhere is Living Nightmare. Octane got to get some wins. He can't do it this time, even though he's done it 36 times this game. And that will put us into another map 5 tonight.
Yes, sir. 222 to 250. This one looking similar to the first, but the other way around. Living Nightmare taking the hard point. We're going back to the search and destroy. At 6 and 2, one would think, Kyle, that I could say this is the most candid game mode so far. But a 0-3 control performance from Hyped eSports makes that a non-issue. 6 and 2, we can't predict anything else though, but from a similar situation, especially the way that Living Nightmare has shown up on Garrison. Like none of those rounds have gone just completely one-sided. It was just the control. Yes, that was. Sorry, I'm mixing these up. It's Garrison checkmate Garrison. Yeah, sorry, I was mixing that up there. This is the shit show. I have no predictions.
Yeah, they've won every Garrison so far, regardless of the mode, whether it's Hardpoint or Control. Granted, those are only respawns, and they now have to win a search and destroy on it.
Exactly.
But that's exactly the point you were making. I'm just reiterating it. But now they have limited lives. They did very good in terms of positioning on it. Octane looking like he's making that map his house, like he's just planting down a little bit of a tent on their squatters' rights. He is there to stay, and he can totally pull this. He and the rest of Hyped eSports, they've all been sort of going off in their own ways. Damon, Raul, they've all been pretty much doing some good stuff since we saw them on the first map. They can all potentially pull this one out. Living Nightmare, like you said, though, they have the X factor of they won the first search and destroy very, very ham-fistedly, and they've been doing that all season.
Yeah, straight up. Search and destroy team still showing up in the respawn game modes. Still going to be the name of the game. We're going to be back with that map 5 here just a little bit. K7 League continuing on in just a second. Don't tune away.
I'm on the final boss again. Let me break it down. No one cares about your craft, cause you ain't even getting looked at unless you talking cash. Everybody wanna rap, nobody wanna write. Nobody wanna be putting in the long hours. Y'all cowards get no flowers. Y'all some doubters acting super but got no powers. I'm like Bowser hawking fire straight up out of my tower. I got the potion, while y'all is comatose. I'll be here forever like the vastness of the ocean. I'm attacking with the motive, rappers think I'm boasting. Y'all don't understand this braggadocious cause you acting off emotion. Tyler said making money's not a problem, but it's having pain and thinking what you get from shows can solve it. Know that one artist, one who venue always packed out, he's probably insecure but his glass house. Money in a problem, I could pay you with the pain and it really gonna solve it. All this cash in the bank and I'm never gonna forget. Where I came from, LA, show me screaming, don't trip. They don't wanna see me win. And we are back to the Garrison. Kyle and I tried to make predictions here before. We threw it all out the window. This is a one and done situation. Nefarious and the rest of Living Nightmares taking on Keys and the Hyped eSports squad. 2-2. What's left of this here, Kyle?
Dude, if we did any kind of bracket picks or match betting or anything like that, everybody would be losing some money tonight. Hyped eSports going the distance up against undefeated Living Nightmare. That's really much all you need to say about this. We are now in the moment of all moments for these teams.
This is a 3-2 on the first matchup. Swear Society and Valkyrie. Both of these teams coming in 1-2, a 4-8 and 5-7 map scores on both of them. That's a predictable, very close map 5 situation. Living Nightmare coming in 3-0 on the match, only dropping 2 maps so far, and now at least doubling that up. At least doubling that up from 2-4 here tonight. Win or loss. that's not something on paper that's more predictable.
Very, very hard to say, Tug, as Octane, he's down below. Rao getting a good first blood up inside of green. It's going to be kind of forcing the hand along with the time keys. Oh, that's a tough mantle gunfight to take, as now they completely clear out lights as well. It's a 2v2 just like that. 0 to 100. That's how the match has been all night. Octane trying to come in here and do a little bit of damage. He does stop the bomb plant. And oh, Cynical unable to get the retribution. Octane, he's waiting for him. He's sitting and nice and ready to finish him off. That is Hyped Esports striking first in the moment of all moments.
Yeah, so Hyped Esports taking the search and destroy round, again harking back from the previous one that was on Checkmate, different map entirely. 6-2 there, so they've already gotten one of the two rounds that they got the first search and destroy. That's really where the attention is right now. Living Nightmare obviously showing up more so on that search and destroy. We're only one round in. That's all we have to talk about right now in the Garrison search and destroy map 5.
Talking about stats here, Tug. I'm pretty sure that Valkyrie had a very similar struggling start in their first search and destroy, did they not? And they came out and won the second search and destroy?
6-1, and then it was a round 11 on the map 5 otherwise. Yeah, literally going the entire distance.
Yeah, so might be seeing a little bit of something similar for Hyped Esports. As Living Nightmare, they are sitting in position. They are stoic as ever. Damon trying to get a little bit of a peek-see here. They do have the guys sitting over and doing the, I don't know, what do you call that thing that people do? They're giving each other, riding on each other's shoulders there, over there, number 4 and 3, just showing the corner. If they do suss that out, it's pretty easy to take care of, but it can totally take you by surprise. Octane, he sees it, and he's going to be calling for the chow. He's trying to take him down here, and he gets one. Exert getting the trade, but Damon taking the second one. It's 2 versus 3 now, as Turbo and Nefarious very far away from each other. Gotta be doing a little bit of regrouping right now.
Yeah, solid Simtext into shot play on this one. Kind of a split attention, forcing player to get back up after they get the information from hand out just ever so briefly. Now, Nefarious taking down one, his first in the search and destroy, looking outside. Damon taking this one as well. Nefarious the last alive. Octane makes mincemeat out of him, and Hyped Esports takes their second.
Again, I am speechless, Tug. This is like the 3rd time of the night that I have had just been absolutely at a loss for words. They saw it, and exactly as I pointed out, it's an easy thing to take care of if you spotted Octane. He knows that kind of thing is something that happens in these games. Check the corner, saw it, easy 2 kills. Granted, they gave one going the other way, but it really helped him out. Just completely sent Living Nightmare setup into a absolute banner. It was not very good, and now they are well and truly behind when they really need it most.
There you go. Cynical now getting his second. Changes the situation where every Living Nightmare player was 1 and 2. Not something you see every day.
Not something that you see every day at all. They've been doing good all season, but yeah, they're playing this very, very carefully, giving a lot of respect to their opponents in Hyped Esports, and deservedly so.
Yeah. Even now with them in a life advantage right now, 4-3, they're still not really pushing this, and like you said, giving the respect that has definitely been earned thus far.
They are just showing up in lights. They might have a kill here, the first pick, but it's going to be hard for them to get total control over B without getting this guy down, which they totally do. And on top of that, Turbo is going to completely and utterly smack down Octane inside of bricks, and the trade coming out as well. That is the first round on the board for Living Nightmare, and it could not have come at a better time. 3-0 would have been tough.
It would have been really tough, not just numerically, not just mentally, but everything indeed hard to come back from on that. Living Nightmare now showing up on the search and destroy. First round win in. Cynical, the only player that's technically up 3-2 kill death ratio wise, and on a 2 streak. But I'm not sure if that's going to be indicative of a similar situation where we see players absolutely popping off and getting streaks, right?
Yeah, I think it's going to be hard for anyone to get streaks with how close this one is, Tug. It's just going to really come down to who wins the individual gunfights and not get streaks. Damon, he's looking like he's going to try and go in vents. He decides better of it because he knows the risk involved. Some good positions here for Hyped Esports to potentially get a kill. Cynical is watching the mid map from that very sneaky Beaver, Caesar, Bueno, Skies-like position there. I've seen him do something like that before, and it was not nice. Very effective. But Hyped Esports, they've been given a lot of space, and they might just take it.
Okay, obviously we have the X-ray vision right now. Raul was not standing in front of Cynical and him just deciding on a more passive lifestyle. Would have taken the shots if he was there. 4-4 still, nobody falling on this one. On board with Damon as he's trying to report to Radhole, makes sense. Now Living Nightmare has not really shown an affinity for this position so far. There's no reason for Damon not to have checked that in the way that he did, so solid performance on that. Also has bombs, so B bomb site will be just outside of that if he tries to come out.
We're just trading shot for shot right now. Cynical gonna get taken down despite all the build-up. That is painful. Bomb going down, and only a 2 versus 2 now, actually. Raul, he's got one up in lights. That's quite no, and now he knows it. Totally gets the drop on him. But Turbo, he's in a good position to come from literally any direction. He's got a 2v1 to deal with. But Hyped Esports, they're in positions where he can easily split them up and take them down piece by piece. Now, they are starting to get closer up together. I think they're realizing this. Turbo still gets
smart.
one.
So that's not smart. If you're these two members, you're Raul and your keys, just you literally buddy up on point. You know you have to report to B, and once you're there, you can literally turn the numbers advantage toward them. As it is, time goes not their way. Turbo it's not going to matter, doesn't get it. Little pistol play at the end, and Hype Esports takes a situation after Nefarious pushes to one-on-one that I think could have really gone their way. Still, the defensive play comes out, so maybe that's just kind of like their secondary movement. Not against it for Hype Esports, they still took the round.
I mean, Raul, the playmaker here. He got 3 kills. We took Cynical out of the position that we were really just hyping up. There was so much pressure just from how long we were viewing him there. We expected something to happen narratively, but it just didn't. It was a complete and utter just surprise. He got completely smacked out of it. Azert along with him. And yeah, Raul just making it happen that round.
Yeah, I mean, that's the pop-up play. You know, going from laying completely prone, trying to continue shots, just not going to happen. Going to get an interrupt there, and some close-range SMG play really spells the end of that one. Like you said, not against the angle by any means, just got to get it done more. Obviously, a lot more shots need to be shot into those ankles, you know, Shen's area than the dead center mass. On board the keys now. Looking across the top. Nobody dead yet.
Yeah, everyone is just respecting each other so much. They do not want to be the first one to die in this situation, Tug. They know that the pressure is on. If they're the first one to die, it's going to be very, very bad. You know just how much first blood means in this game. Living Nightmare taking it very, very cautiously. Accordingly, they haven't made a whole lot of gains here, but they do take down Octane. That is pretty big. And they take down another full site control now in the hands of Living Nightmare, just like
Damon
that.
last alive. Yep, it's going to be fast. It's going to be loud. It's going to be explosive. Living Nightmare taking down 4 without dropping a member on this. 2-3 now. Living Nightmare 1 round away from tying.
Yeah, they are well and truly still in this, Tug. But Exert taking down Octane, that well and truly broke us open. We saw this on the first time they played Search and Destroy as well. It's as soon as you get a pick, instantly go. It's pick and then rush. That's pretty much been how Living Nightmare has been playing up against Hyped Esports all night in Search and Destroy. We saw in the first one, we're seeing it in this one now as well. Hyped Esports, if they can pick up on that, I'm sure that they can make necessary adjustments and keep this lead through to the finish.
Absolutely. On board Nefarious now. Damon, rest of Hyped Esports on attack. You're treating it slower again. Like the more passive play again, just kind of trying to figure things out. Positive positioning here for Exert and company. They have the trophy systems up, unless they got overloaded. I thought there was one that was left.
Not quite sure, Tug. I didn't quite see it. But Exert, I think he is thinking better of that situation, just trying to play his life, doesn't want to take the chance in the 50-50 gunfight if they slide on in and put some shots on them, both of them. So they're playing this really smart. They do not want to die. Hyped Esports being allowed a lot of positioning over on B. Damon, he's checking out back lights to make sure that nobody is there. He's got the bomb, so he can't check this too hard or risk the bomb going down in an unadvantageous position for them. Time is running out, so the plant's got to be soon. They're in position where they could potentially justify the plant, and with the pick, it's going to come now.
There you go, Damon on this, keeping his eyes on the prize. Nefarious is not too far away, and now with the information planted on A, both Cynical and Exert start that on-the-run situation. Octavane knows where one's at, looks for the finishing shots, not going to have it. Members moving through middle and more as Cynical is we're on board with now. Knows at least one player is top green. Not sure if he knows about the second, but knows at least one is up there. Now looking, taking out Octavane easily as Octavane does not check his feet area. Exert on board, moving through HVAC and more. Defuse coming through. Nefarious tries that, not going to happen. Keys takes him down with a Pistola as Hyped Esports takes an easy round number 4.
That was a huge kill in the vents. If they had just not caught that attempt at the defuse, they might have just been looking for that guy a lot longer. Granted, they got the kills on the other two, and they might have checked bomb, but it's not so certain. It really, really helped them out there that they had a guy chilling in vents, putting a lot of pressure on Living Nightmare here, especially now with the 4-2. Tug, we're at it again. It is round number 7. It really helped out Valkyrie, but can it help out Living Nightmare if they can actually win it?
Yeah, I mean, Hyped Esports takes another round like this, putting them to 5-2 will be much easier to them to take a 6th, and they'll be effectively flipping the script, just like Living Nightmare did on the Hardpoint, but on the Search and Destroy. Be interesting stuff to see how that continues here. Again, that's just kind of theory crafting at this point. Nobody falling quite yet, even though Sun checks and more are out. Well, on the other side, treat it super slow. I like it. Again. You see his feet? No, he didn't see feet. He's not OnlyFans.
Oh my god, I love that, Tug. You made the perfect joke right there. He sees feet, but he doesn't realize that he sees the feet. He might be seeing defeat, though, if they can't get a little bit of a play out here. They know exactly where Turbo's at. Octavane, that is just the butterfly effect fully in there for you, Tug. He did not see defeat, and now he is going to get shot out there. Gets shot from the gap there. That is so unfortunate. But yeah, time still the enemy of Living Nightmare right now. They got to make some plays. They're starting to lash out at Hyped Esports when they don't really want to. Damon sitting pretty and waiting for them to try and plant it. This is going to have to be picture perfect. Bomb guy going down. And they still haven't gotten the guy out of back spawn. They're going to have to do a hasty plant. Keys coming up to try and stop it. And he is going to spoil the plant. All Damon Robbed to is not die.
There you go. Hype Esports taking their 5th. Like I said, this made much, much easier for them. 5-2 after Living Nightmare took a 6-2. This is Hype Esports who really wants to flip the script here. Really wants to put a foot forward and make a statement.
No matter how well Exert did in that last little bit, he got so many kills and he was looking for the last one. Plant would have had to come down if he had just been able to find the final player in Raul, but again, Raul being the playmaker, even when he is not actively involved in it, he is just going to stay alive and not die, and that is sometimes all you need, Tug. Sometimes the team with, I guess, the most kills is not the one that wins it. Granted, Hyped Esports does slightly margin out Living Nightmare with more kills, but it is still pretty damn close.
No one but 2 trophy systems here. No, I'm with it. It's incredibly close. Hyped Esports here has everything going for them. Living Nightmare have to strike back in 1-2-3 fashion just to tie it back up. We saw round 11 earlier. Matchup number 1 between Suicide and Valkyrie. We're a far, far cry from there. Let's just say that.
Yeah, it's definitely not time to be calling out for a round 11 or anything of that nature, but Octane going down middle is going to be giving a little bit of credence to that. They are now going to have to push in a man down. Totally spots Nefarious, but reveals his position without getting anything for it. Now they know there's a guy generally mid, and Hyped Esports out of time and out of options. Keys going to be gifted a kill by Exert, but Raul going down. Damon trying to get something going here, but that is going to be a round that Living Nightmare really needs. Could still be in round 11 territory here, Tug, but it's still a little bit of a ways away.
Yeah, still at least 2 rounds from the tie-up situation. The name of the game here was just taking the life advantage and playing out the best. Living Esports, literally, I mean, we made the joke earlier about chess on Checkmate, but really, this was as simple as making Hyped Esports players reveal their position. Living Nightmare just literally 1-on-1 after that. The first player got a little bit of damage. The second player was able to make it much, much more easy to take that kill right there and just push it to lives yet again. Hyped Esports 5-3 after some much more methodical play from Living Nightmare.
Living Nightmare really leaning towards A. They might be going for a straight push on in to green. They don't see anything turbo, but that doesn't mean that there's nothing there, and that he knows that. Keys knows it, and they're just sitting and waiting, trying to hope that he has got a lot of pressure on. Takes the bait. One false move could mean the loss on the night totally for Living Nightmare. So they really got to play this carefully. That is why Turbo is being so gingerly at poking himself into this green territory.
Yeah, I mean, Turbo falls here with bomb in hand. Hype Esports realizes that and just swarms around it, knowing that any kind of non-kill based win for Hype Esports would come, or from Living Nightmare would come off the back of that bomb possession. But this is a full flood over towards this ace site. That's the first. He falls. Octavene's still there. Octavane trying. Octavane pulls up a pistol and gets it taken against him, actually. 2-2 situation. Nefarious now with bomb. Living Nightmare switching the rotation here, switching the attention. Bomb coming down, that's going to be taken out instantly, and Cynical the last alive. Now 1v1, Kyle.
I think he saw him. I think Cynical saw him. He totally saw him, but Damon gets away with his life ever so slightly. That is huge, and I think he called out that he killed the bomb planter. Cynical doesn't know that he knows, and he has to go quickly, but he is not going to have enough time. I think that's call-outs coming in at its finest there, Tug. He killed the guy off the plant, told his teammate, you don't have to chow. And Cynical straight out of luck, SOL, to finish this one off 6-3 in the hands of Hyped Esports.
Yeah, the Hyped Esports squad, the new 4-man squad coming through here and taking Living Nightmare to task. It's official, Kyle. The dream is dead.
Well, the dream is still alive for Hyped Esports. This was quite literally a Cinderella story for them, my dude, or like, well, a Cinderella Man story, if you guys have seen the boxing movie. Man, sorry if I spoiled that, but yeah, Hyped Esports is going to be now 2-2 in the league as Living Nightmare can be taking their first series loss of all season. They've really extended their map loss ratio now.
Yeah, the third, fourth, and fifth map loss. Seriously, they only had 2 coming into this, 0 match losses coming through on this, and Hyped Esports making that a non-issue to talk about here in the future. I want to give a shout out to our sponsors. That's Innovated Gear, Partners, Innovated Gear, Rogue Energy, DropShotStats, GitGudHosts, and Gamers Resort. We really do appreciate all of them, as well as Connie, our producer. Now, Kyle, I do believe that's about it. It's been a very long day. Do you have anything else for the good folk before we get on out of here?
Nothing other than the fact that I want to thank you, Tug, for casting this with me. It was a blast. It was a marathon, and I'm glad I got to do it with you. And I am most thankful for you, the viewers, that you got to spend it with us too. We had 2 map 5s tonight. It was pretty damn awesome, and I'm glad that you guys watched it. If you have friends that did not get to watch it and they like competitive Call of Duty action, make sure you guys go and share it. And if you guys want us to know that you like what we're doing here, then you can easily do that by liking and subscribing for the channel. Would really appreciate it. Sure. And make sure you guys come back for the next time on Tuesday. Tug's going to be there. I won't be there. But make sure you guys still come back for some more Call of Duty action coming at you tomorrow, same time and place.